Bull or bear? Let's see what happens here. And the old coin says it's a bull. Good evening, and hey, what's up, folks? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Got the live Deerfield Beach underwater cam up now, and that's not because I got this show done particularly earlier than normal. Actually not, about the same time, but it is getting darker a little bit later here in South Florida. Of course, that means we're getting closer to the light period, as my father would call it, as opposed to the dark period during winter, when everything gets darker earlier and later in the morning. Well, anyways, where are we going from here? I missed this camera. I haven't put it up in such a long time, but live Deerfield Beach camera, I'm sure I'll be showing more of this in the near future. I got a couple quotes today and a couple kind of things where I'm going with this. And this is one of them. I don't think that Karl Marx is an odd guy for me to quote, particularly me not being the, I won't say anti-socialist, but, well, okay, I'm going to say it. Anti-socialist, I'm a libertarian in many old school, what do you call it? Old school classical liberalism, which is today kind of like a libertarianism. That's me, which means that I don't care what you do with your life. I don't care what you do, as long as you harm no others and you don't make me pay for it. More or less a live and let live kind of a philosophy in life. But Karl Marx said this: though gold and silver are not by nature money, money is by nature gold and silver. Listen, even the communist, Karl Marx understood this, that gold and silver is money. It's by nature, and there was nothing that he or any philosopher or any government, banking system, politician was ever going to change. Gold and silver is money and has been for 5,000 years, our short periods of life here on Earth, including Karl Marx's, mine, yours. And even if you think about it, the central banking system itself, and even the empire of countries like the United States, is short in the time frame of history. What is not short is the history of gold and silver, which has been around for 5,000 years as a form of money. Even Karl Marx, the anti-capitalist, knew that. So do I, so do you, and most of us savvy people out there. And I'm going somewhere with this, folks, trust me. By the way, I'd like to say a big thank you for a lot of you folks out there that put up with me week to week, me producing these videos on a daily basis and listening to me for whatever reasons there may be. Hopefully I'm helping educate some of you. Hopefully I'm helping entertain some of you, and I think I'm even putting some of you to sleep at night. So I'd particularly like to thank some folks that drove down from Amelia, Florida, or drove over from Amelia, Florida, and Amelia Island, I guess it is. Great car show, by the way. Came over to visit me today, and the gentleman and his wife had purchased some stuff from us. And again, thanks for making the trip over here. A lot of you folks, I can't tell you how many of people have come here in my store and listened to me, and it never ceases to give me goosebumps and turn my face red, because most of the time I'm thinking I'm just staring at a screen, talking to a blank screen. I'm looking at the same thing you are right now. Thank you with the big smiley face. This is my audience, actually, in my mind. If I really knew how many people listen to me, and there's not a lot in the grand scope of things. I'm not like the biggest sensation on YouTube, but anyways. It's tough for me I get a little embarrassed when I meet some of you folks. It's like, oh man, you want to meet me? But anyway, I can't thank you guys enough for coming to visit me. I can't thank you guys enough that you guys and gals out there that listen to me, support me. By the way, hit that like and subscribe button too. There's my plug for myself. But thank you very much. I really appreciate all of you out there. I can't say that enough. I wouldn't even do this if I didn't think. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little, but I know people listen out there. But I don't really quite think I fully appreciate the scope of how many people and how much you enjoy listening to me. I'm a bit. Well, I won't say I don't give myself that much credit. All right, maybe I'm like a lot of other people, but again, I can't say enough times. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, where am I going with this? Speaking of Karl Marx, but one thing Karl Marx didn't lie about, Marx did not lie about is by nature, gold and silver are money. They have been money. That's just history. Nothing Karl Marx, the communist, could change, nor bankers, nor politicians or anything like that. 5,000-year track records. What has this got to do with the world of lies? Well, folks, we are living in a world of lies. This is absolutely correct in no uncertain terms. I mean, I've just been watching this last decade go by, and it just seems like from one thing to the next thing. First, we get hit with a big lie. Then all of a sudden, our attentions are turned to something else, some other big newsworthy event, some other big event that comes up that's supposed to take our mind off the last one, which does a little bit, like chops at it. I mean, think about this. As far as Epstein goes, and I don't want to talk about this. I'll probably get my views knocked down or chipped down. I'm not sure if YouTube really does that, censors this stuff, but maybe they do. But look at Epstein. I mean, think about that. That was big news. The dude got murdered in jail. I mean, we all thought he was a piece of shit. I mean, most people thought the guy was right. but no less, there's none of us that believe that man died naturally in prison. And there's not been an investigation since then. Carlson Tucker, who I never watched. I just saw someone forward me a video that he starts talking about this. But I've known this all along. Nothing's happened since then. And again, what am I talking about? Defending a piece of shit, a guy like that? Yeah, well, he is. But still, the idea that someone could have silenced him in a federal prison is just pure frightening to our democracy in so many different ways, so many more ways than what these bullshit asshole Democrats talk about, and even Republicans as well. I mean, that's just dangerous. And meanwhile, where did that go? Went off the face of the map. Assange, look at Assange. The dude got thrown in prison for basically telling the truth. On leaked documents. He never put anyone's life in danger. He was telling the truth. He's in prison. He's been in prison for that since then. And anyone that gives me the bullshit for any other reason, I'll debate anybody on YouTube that Assange is legitimately in prison for what, I'll debate anybody out there. And I know this is a precious metal show, but, I know my shit. Trust me on this. And I'm not stupid. Neither are you. All right. He's in prison for telling lies. Look at Snowden. Now there's going to be some people, oh, fucking traitor, but not true at all. Snowden was actually, he just told us what we probably already knew, and then they're going to kill the dude, and that's the truth. But meanwhile, these things go so fast from one thing to another, and you forget about the last one. It's just a machine gun fire of lies, lie after lie after lie. We live in a world of lies. We never get figuring out if the last one was a lie or not. Turns out most of them have been. This includes the Critter 19 back in 2000. You know what I'm saying? And we, a small percent of it just kind of saw through the smoke screen, knew exactly what was happening with all this bullshit. But now it comes out even more and more. And all you got to do is look at anything but a corporate news source. Look at this. It says no. And what does this have to do with the price of gold and silver? Well, it has a lot to do with the price of gold and silver, because in the world of lies, the only thing that you can trust is history. And what is history? Gold and silver are history for money. You can't trust the bastards at creating it. Boy, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Where are we going from here? Wow, all kinds of stuff. But, I mean, to take a look at the news here. I mean, look at these warmongers right here. Why would you encourage these kind of people right here? Why would you, but it's not changed. Eisenhower warned us about the military-industrial complex and how they would ultimately rule the whole world, and that's absolutely true. But what does this have to do with the price of gold and silver? And you're still asking yourself, well, folks, in a world of lies, in a world of wars, in a world of greed, and again, really bad evil people out there that are running our world, running our media, and running our agencies out there. I mean, this is a fact. You would think that, we are getting close to some kind of inflection point. Would that the right be word? Some point, an explosion, some point of something happening here soon? I mean, because at what point can a certain segment of the population, the people that are actually cognizant, I hate to use the term woke, but woke, woke to the nonsense that we see in Washington, D.C., woke to the nonsense we see with our central banks, our banking system, our media, which was supposed to be what we call the fourth estate. Folks, it's screwed. It's a world of lies. I don't mean to be so negative and anything like that, but what does this have to do with the price of gold? Listen, the man himself, Karl Marx, the guy that wanted to bring about the ultimate destruction of the capitalist world, whatever ways he could, and tried. Well, maybe not Karl Marx did, but his ilk did, and still is trying today. Gold and silver, even he had to admit, surpasses all this stuff right here. And when I talk about world of lies, gaslighting, and again, world of lies. You don't think you're living in a world of lies? Look at this. Number one, gaslighting. They tell blatant lies. They deny they ever said something even though you have proof. I mean, come on, think about this. Think about our political system. Think about our economic system. Think about what this is saying, gaslighted. This is why I'm saying the world of lies. They use what is near and dear to you as ammunition. It's funny, I was on Twitter the other day looking at the war on Ukraine, and the Ukrainians were saying that Russian soldiers ate puppies and shit like that. I kid you not, man. All right? Near and dear. Our puppies, our dogs, and our kitties are dear to us. Our pets are dear to us. The idea is that Russians are eating them. I'm telling you, this is gaslighting. This is what psychopaths do, and this is who is running our government, running our agencies, whatever agencies they are. Psychopaths, in my opinion. They wear you down over time. Their actions do not. That's what we're seeing right now, folks. Most people are just freaking worn down from this. I don't know about you, but I am. Their actions do not match their words, though. That's been happening for decades. All this stuff has been happening in decades. It just gets more and more in our faces. They throw positive reinforcement in to confuse you. Just look at the Joe Biden daily Twitter site. You can tell they throw in positive reinforcement to confuse you. They're full of shit. I'm sorry to say it, but it's true. They know confusion weakens people. They project. They try to align people against you. They tell you or others that you are crazy. They tell you that everyone else is a liar. Folks, it's true. Thank you, by the way. We're living in a world of lies. As you can see, I don't have this orchestrated quite well as I'd like to, but we are living in a world of lies. And again, what does that have to do with the price of gold and silver? Boy, I hate to keep pointing back to Karl Marx, but even that mother effer knew it. They are money. It has been for 5,000 years. And what does that really mean in the I don't think Barbara M. White meant me to use this in this term, but building trust is a process. Trust results from consistent and predictable interaction over time. Now, Barbara would never even think I'd be talking about the gold and silver and the price of gold and silver and the historical look at gold and silver, but this is absolutely true. You can apply this to gold, silver, and precious metals. Building trust is a process. She's absolutely correct about this. Trust results from consistent and predictable interaction over time. That's what gold and silver and platinum is. That's what precious metals is, especially gold and silver. For 5,000 years, Karl Marx even knew this, and I keep going back to him. But this is what I'm talking about. This is why you buy gold, silver, and platinum, as preservation of wealth. You spend the first 40 years of your life making it. You spend the second 40 years of your life trying to keep it. This is a fact for most people. Most of us aren't just money earners our entire life. And even if you are a money earner and you're making tremendous amount of money, and there's a lot of people out there that have made millions and they've lost it as well, because it's not about just making it, it's about keeping it. And that's what gold, silver, and platinum is all about. It's about keeping it. It has a historic track record. Well, where do we even go from here? All right, let's go to the spot prices, the bullshit CME CrimeX prices, and the CME Group's paper derivative market called COMEX Gold, COMEX Silver, and COMEX Platinum. Where are the big banks out there collusively and manipulatively keep these prices quite low? We are in, basically, folks, we're looking at these prices being capped. Gold is absolutely being capped below that 1950 mark. Perhaps 2,000, but I'm going to say 1950 is the current cap right now on gold. And what is a cap? A cap is just another bullshit way of saying manipulative, collusive behavior in the COMEX markets by the big commercial positions out there that short these markets in a big major way. Same thing with mostly in the silver markets, primarily in the silver markets, but it happens just as much in the gold markets, we have to admit. Silver, 23.60. The cap is 24 bucks. If you notice, once it gets that 24 buck mark, it gets knocked down dramatically. Why? Well, because the paper derivative market out there and the people that actually could lose a lot of money if they don't short these markets, and even better, even more concerning to them is making money, cheating these markets, not losing money, because they seldom ever do lose money, because, you know, the CME group allows them to cheat these markets forever. And it's the same collusive behavior we see. But anyway, these markets are super dirt cheap. If they're going to keep these prices collusively, manipulatively low like they are, I mean, look at platinum, no freaking love at all. What a good rare metal that is as well, with so many industrial applications as well as investment applications out there. And silver, just tired of talking about it. We know how crooked the COMEX market's been with silver for decades and decades, as well as the London markets and silver and other markets as well. And, again, the paper derivative markets that the CME group runs, the casino that the CME group runs. But these markets are super cheap. And I got to tell you one thing that I've seen too is recently there has been retail capitulation, not in selling. There hasn't been any large retail sales of gold, silver, and platinum. None of the people that have been buying gold, silver, and platinum for decades and decades. Most people that buy gold and silver, and platinum they keep it. They keep it. They look at it as wealth preservation. They're not looking at it as an overnight investment. They look at it as a way of, when I wake up in the morning, my gold and silver is where I put it. It's where I have it, and it's not going anywhere. It's the one wealth that they feel that they have control over. And they also know that in 5,000 years, gold, silver, and platinum has never went bankrupt. And you know that any kind of market that you're in, whether it's cryptos or whether it's a stock market, whatever it may be, even sovereign country bonds, treasuries, could go bankrupt. And they do. All of them do. No empire survived that long. No fiat currency survived that long. They all go bankrupt. And again, the beauty of gold and silver is it has built trust. There's a process in 5,000 years that's built trust, and it resulted from consistent and predictable interaction, which means consistent and predictable prices and the ability to preserve wealth. And that's exactly what gold and silver and platinum is. And again, if you can see how all this is feeding into itself, good for you, because I'm confused now. But price is super cheap right now. All these prices are manipulated down heavily to the downside by crooks in the CME Group's markets called gold, silver, and platinum. But what does this mean for a lot of us out there? Well, if you're in a position where you have to sell your gold, silver, and platinum, you're screwed, kind of. I mean, if you have to sell it in any short term, you're kind of screwed at this point, because again, they're still capping prices right now. But at some point, it's going to take off. We're all going to have our oh shit moment, and we know the reasons why. I can get into that. That's a whole different conversation that Ted Butler and a lot of other silver and gold guys talk about. That these manipulators can't control it all the time. We're going to get into that in a moment too. But meanwhile, super cheap prices out there, and as I said, no capitulation with gold and silver buyers out there. None of the big buyers and small buyers that I've sold to for decades and decades have been coming in and selling me gold and silver. But the capitulation has been in the buying habits. They have not been buying, which is weird. That explains the drop in premiums. But silver has been hammered down so much in the last few years. I think the sentiment, the buying sentiment on the physical side is pretty low right now. I would be hard pressed to say that any precious metal dealers out there that are doing the same volumes they were a year ago or 2 years ago. Across the board, the sentiment on precious metals has just dropped. And I've talked about this. I believe I know why this is. For a long time, silver was sitting at that sub $22, sub 21, 18, 19. Lots of buyers out there. Premiums are up substantially. But there are silver buyers that are seasoned silver buyers. They know the cyclical action of the CRIMEX markets, where they drive silver up $5. $25, and then they knock it down another $5, $5 or $6. I think that when we seen silver at this $24 and $25 level, a lot of the physical buyers out there are a little bit gun shy, even with the low premiums, understanding that they can buy just as cheap as they could when premiums were higher and silver prices were lower. They're still gun shy at buying right now. And I think that the sentiment overall on gold and silver is kind of tepid right now. Across the board, you still got your stackers, your hardcore stackers, your people that understand why you're buying gold and silver. But I think people are waiting to, everything is a wait and see. These prices are wait and see prices for physical buyers right now. They're waiting to see what happens. They're waiting for that upside market there to tell them that they should start buying more because it's going to continue to go higher. And trust me, I know that sounds weird, but a lot of people wait for things to kind of trend in the upward motion before they start buying. But what we've been seeing with gold and silver particularly, it's just been trading in this range. Not been going down substantially, not been going up substantially, been capped at $24 on the crooked CRIMEX markets. Just a strange sentiment out there, it really is. Premiums haven't changed much, folks. The best deals out there are still like gold bars at spot plus 70. Gold Eagles aren't that bad at spot plus 112 bucks. I've got a lot of cool products at both the gold, silver, and platinum, and I'll get into that in a little bit. If you want to know how to buy from me, I advertise to beat APMEX, SDJ, and Bullion. If you live in South Florida, I'll beat the local guys as well. Beat them in a couple ways. I'll beat them in service, and I'll beat them in education, and I'll beat them in price as well. And again, APMEX, SD, JM Bullion, and the local guys here in South Florida. I want to beat the best, and these guys are the best out there who I'm talking about. Well, anyways, I'll get into my little advertising spiel at the end if you want to follow through with me in this whole video. Meanwhile, really cool video. One of my favorite websites out there is the Visual Capitalist, and they call this the Money Project. Let me see if I can reduce that a little bit. Here. I thought this was pretty cool. Silver, annual global silver production. This is a 13 stunning visualizations. I like the visualizations. Some of us are very visual out there. Some of us are audio. Most of you that listen to me are probably audio because my visuals suck. But here you go. Here's a good visual here for you. You can find it yourself. It's free on the website called the Money Project, moneyventurecapitalist.com. Annual global silver. There's what the Hunt brothers were able to accumulate let me see if I can click that and what happens here. And nope, let me just go back to where I was. I had a better view there. But the Hunt brothers accumulated probably, what does that look like? 40% of the entire annual global silver production at the time. And let me see if we want to read this here. Though gold has a bigger reputation today as a monetary metal, it was often deemed too valuable for everyday transactions. For the most part, common people like ancient Rome used silver to buy daily staples like grain or wine. As a result, silver has a strong reputation through monetary as a people's money. This is true. Gold has always been referred to as the money of kings, and the silver is the money of the working class, I guess you can say. Even today, silver is much more widely accessible, with 1 ounce of gold being 70 times more expensive than an ounce of silver. It's difficult, even more now. I think it's like 80 times more, folks. That's what the ratio has been recently. But this little web page might be a little bit older. Visualizing silver. What does silver and debt look like using people's money? Below is everything from an average paycheck to global sovereign debt visualized as silver cubes. Now this is pretty cool. A medium U.S. family brings in $2,355 per pay period, semi-annual. Remember, this is a family of two working people in the family. Excuse me, let me take a sip here. $2,355. That's probably not too far off for the average family out there. And trust me, I don't know how these folks live on it. I mean, I have a hard time living on. And I live frugally too. I imagine a lot of you guys do as well. Average U.S. paycheck cube dollar value contains 129 ounces of silver. So basically, the average family every 2 weeks, the two-person working family makes about 129 ounces of silver per week. Put that in perspective if you want. I thought that was pretty cool. The median family savings, cube dollar value of $5,000. So the average savings of most Americans is 274 ounces of silver. And I know a lot of you stackers out there are saying, I got more than that. Yes, you do. And you should be thankful for that, okay? Because I don't think a lot of us that own silver, and Listen, if you're even watching this video, you're a fortunate person, more than likely, because you own something. You own silver. There's people out there that don't own a pot to piss in, all right? So a lot of people may say that's not a lot of silver. $5,000 contains 200. But, this is the average family out there. This is the, the average savings out there. And a lot of people don't have a lot of money out there. Again, consider yourself fortunate if you are following videos like mine about silver, gold, and platinum, because you are, all right? So $5,000, the average family savings is about $274. I mean, 274 ounces. The standard silver delivery bar holds about 1,000 ounces of silver. This is what COMEX, supposedly, when you buy a contract from COMEX, a contract in silver equals, I believe, 5,000 ounces. Now, they may have smaller contracts, but my understanding is a contract, I've never been involved in their crookedness, but from what I understand, their contracts are 5,000 ounces. So 5 of these bars would equal a COMEX contract, which are the contracts that you hear about the big crooks out there, the big commercials out there manipulating the price of silver COMEX bars. So 5 of these would be equal a COMEX contract. The average household debt is about $98,312 mortgage held. So this is the average household debt compared to a cube of silver. The average household debt is equal to 5,381 ounces of silver. So the average family out there that has $5,000 in silver savings, you know what I mean, $5,000 in silver saved per year, we saw that a little while ago, spends $98,000 to live. Household debt, almost $100,000, 5,000 ounces, 10 times the amount of silver that the average, 20 times the amount that the average person would own in silver savings if they had their savings in silver. That's pretty sad, folks. The cost of living is just freaking insane. This is a great example of this. Look, this is what it costs for the average person to live out there, the average family to live. Look what they actually, their average in savings is right here. 274 ounces of silver, $5,000. Look at their living expenses. Look how much you pay just to live out there. And I'm talking about the big lie, folks. This is all part of the big lie, all right? How badly we're being screwed out there. And it has not to do with the cost of living. It has to do with the reduction in the value in the dollar, the buying power of the dollar. All right, now let's get into some more fun stuff. A Lamborghini is worth $400,000, needs a silver cube worth 16 inches. This is getting into a tough question for me. Now, let me ask you, is this a tough question for you? Which would you rather own, the silver cube or that awesome Lamborghini? My practical side says to me, I'd rather own the silver right there. Look at that cube of silver, man. What is it, 22,000 ounces versus that car. Well, I'm not a big fan of Lamborghinis. I do like Ferraris and other cars, but I guess I'd have to go with the cube of silver. But boy, that'd be a tough decision right there, just on the visceral and the exciting part of it. You can't drive that around at 150 miles per hour. But the Lamborghini you can, but I always think about the future and what might be worth more in the future. I think silver is going to be a lot worth. I think that 22,000 ounces of silver in the future will be worth far more than a Lamborghini for that same price of $402,000. That's just my opinion. Let's see how that pans out in the future if I'm still around. $1 million as a solid silver cube. Now this is pretty cool. A cube of silver, a solid cube of silver worth $1 million would be 54,735 ounces of silver. And again, the question I ask everyone out there when I talk about the history of silver and the history of the fiat dollar and the history of empires and how silver and gold has been around for 5,000 years, in a long-term perspective, would you rather own $1 million of these green paper things or that big cube of silver right there? Which would you rather own in the long term, in the grand scope of things? Well, I think I know which one I'd rather own, that big cube of silver right there. That's just my opinion. 7, every day the world's mines produce about 75 tons of silver worth over $44 million. And again, the Hunt brothers brought up, about 40% of the silver out there back in their day. But 75 tons of silver worth $44 million, that's not a lot, folks. We were talking about not too long ago that silver costs more to mine than gold. Silver is more expensive to get out of the ground than gold. Silver is actually rare above ground than gold in so many different ways. And again, we talked about that. Look at last week or 2 weeks ago video. I think I have something titled as such. But as a solid silver cube, this is the daily silver mine production worldwide. So all over the world on a daily basis, this is how much silver supposedly comes out of the ground. There's your shovel, there's your pick. Interesting though, what a great visual this is. 2,429,000 ounces of silver daily taken out of the ground. And here we go, number 8, silver eagles have jumped considerably since the financial crisis. F silver eagles. The reason they've jumped so much is I have no clue why. The popularity of them is why they've jumped so much in demand. But cube dollar value, US dollars, $171,372,000. Contains 728,973,000 ounces of silver. Average silver eagles sales. Take a look at that. Just jumped up dramatically in 2009 to 2016, but since then it's been a lot worse. This tells me that this is a older visual as well because they go up to 2016 here. Hunt Brothers stockpile, but it's still very interesting, isn't it? Cube dollar value. 3,654,000. No, 3 billion. Woo! This is inflation adjusted $654,000 million. Wow, I didn't realize that the Hunt Brothers position was quite that much. But again, remember, this is inflation adjusted number right here, not back in the day in 1980. 200 million ounces of silver the Hunt Brothers stockpile was. Wow, those guys did it right too, and they bought real silver. They were going to collapse the paper markets. That's why they were. That's why they were taken down. The Hunt Brothers were taken down. The silver price was taken down because they were about to collapse the bullshit derivative paper market and the bullion banks out there that were driving it. They were going to bankrupt them mothers, and instead the Hunt Brothers got taken down in so many nefarious ways by the COMEX, the CME groups, the LBMA, all the bullion banks out there that screwed the Hunt Brothers. But take a look at that. That's pretty cool to look at. Almost 900 million ounces of silver is mined each year. Again, there's the Hunt Brothers stockpile. In comparison, the Hunt Brothers really went out there and cornered that market. In the legal way, too. They just got screwed by the crooks in the COMEX and the banking crooks. This is interesting. I didn't go this far. JP's market capitalization in comparison to previous cubes. JP Morgan has a solid silver cube. Annual global silver. Evil bastards that they are. My gosh, you can't help but admire what they've actually built through their crookedness all these years. But I digress, and let's move on to the next one. The Fed's balance sheet as a solid silver cube. Take a look at that. There's JP Morgan, the Fed's balance sheet. Woo! Oh, wow. There's a football field, folks. If you don't think that you're being lied to, you're being, oh my God, look at the Fed's balance sheet. Man, this is the US dollar, folks. This isn't the Fed balance sheet. This is the US dollar. This is not the silver cube we wish. The Fed wishes that was it. This is what the Fed's balance sheet would look like if it was made out of silver, but it's not. It's made out of paper, made out of bullshit derivatives, made out of anyway, fiat. Boy, it gets even scarier from here. World sovereign debt. There's the Empire State Building. There's the Fed's balance sheet, and there's the world sovereign debt right there with the Statue of Liberty on top. And a cube of silver representing what that would look like if it was silver. And trust me, this cube would be much bigger if it was based on a realistic silver price here, because the silver price is such bullshit. I imagine that cube should be twice as big. But anyway, I thought you guys would find this interesting. Grams of silver per coin, all kinds of cool stuff in the visual capitalist, and all kinds of negative stuff out there when it comes to how we're being lied to, how we're being gaslighted, why gold and silver is a good investment, and the world of lies we're living into. Gold and silver has been around for 5,000 plus years. Like I said, even the commies knew that. Gaslighting, man, just proof of what's happening to us today, and proof of why, if you're going to put your money anywhere, it's in an asset that's built the trust over time. It's been consistent and predictable over time. unlike fiat currencies, unlike empires, unlike stocks, bonds, companies, and all that other stuff. You're in a safe place if you've got gold and silver, folks. Trust me on this. Well, anyways, I'm going to move into last Friday's video, Why is Gold and Silver a Safe Haven? I didn't name that, by the way, and my titles are a little bit more clickbaitish. I know Marcelo's going to kick me in the head for saying this. I'll let him name this one, but yeah, if you can't attract people to click your videos, you're not going to get views out there. And the whole point of my videos is really not to make myself rich, but to educate you guys out there. And I love the political slant that I can throw on this and get away with as well, because I think just educating everyone out there what hard money is, what solid good money is, what history means, and where we're going and the lies we're being told. I think this is a service to everyone. And I think when I remind you that you need to be repeating this to other people as well is really important. Boy, I went off on some tangents tonight. Well, one long tangent at the very least. All right, let me answer some questions from last Thursday's video. Didn't get a chance to do Friday's video, folks. I am sorry I haven't been as consistent as normally I like to be, but I wanted to do Friday's video. Friday's just a long day. It's a long week. I don't get to do them on Fridays, so I usually do Fridays. For the last several months, I've been doing Friday's videos on Saturday mornings, but the last couple Saturday mornings, I've kind of slept in a little later than I normally would. And I've been getting over to my father's place to clean out his estate and stuff like that. Most of you know my father passed away. I'm taking over his business and helping my mom and a bunch of other stuff. So that's taken up my Saturdays. And it's no excuse. I know. I need to get these videos done. Hey, Mike P., thanks for watching. Appreciate your comments. Appreciate you watching. Your time for watching me and listening to me. Mr. Greeting and Salutations, thank you, Mr. Greeting Salutations. Say prosperous weekend to everyone, yourself is concluded. How much silver is in Abraham's tank? Probably quite a bit. What I'm learning about silver is the slow corrosiveness, the conductivity that it has, that makes it such a great asset in weapons and stuff. And again, something I learned about recently is that the instantaneous connection that silver has with signals and electricity that's sent across it versus other type metals. But that's, again, I'm going off tangent on that. I don't know how much silver is in Abraham's tank. I'd be curious. Maybe I'll ask the AI program next time I mess around with that. JTBSK2, absolutely be your own central bank silver liner. Any question what it costs to extract a half ounce? No, probably. Again, the extraction process is not worth what the phone really is worth. Now, I've seen 15 grams is the amount of silver in a cell phone. I didn't want to bring it up, but I did a little looking back into what the AI program, the artificialintelligence.org program told me that there's 15 grams in the average cell phone. But I went out to verify that, and I could not see that. So I've got to do a little more searching on that silver liner. Thanks for watching. And I admit, sometimes, you know, I think that I got the right answers. I don't always have that. BJ says there's 50 ounces in a silver in a nuclear warhead. So I've been told. That number stuck with me because in the Bible there are 58 blessings. Pretty cool how you associate that with that. And funny what one remembers. That's absolutely true, BJ. Thanks for watching. Rick Inman says, excellent answer from AI about the manipulation. If you know last week's video, or was it the week before, I focused in on that new free AI program that you can talk to, artificial intelligence, that is really pretty cool. I mean, a lot of great answers. It's like talking to a brilliant 7-year-old and articulate, good answers, not always right. And when it's not right, it apologizes, unlike most adults. So pretty cool stuff. Donald Desno says 48 2-peso gold, now I get you 1,600 pesos a day. That's absolutely interesting comparison there. Thanks, Don. Mark says Friday. Friday. What are we doing, Mark? What are you doing on Friday, Mark? I don't know. Friday. Lost me there, brother. Don Freya's gold and silver have natural value, money. And that's what we were just talking about. And that's what Karl Marx was talking about. Natural value has had value for 5,000 plus years, out-survived countries, corporations, fiat currencies, men, religions, you name it. It's been there. Gold and silver has. Longevity. Bear down 800 points. Interesting. How much silver is in a cruise ship? Well, probably a lot, you know, because again, it all has to do with corrosion. I bet you there's a lot of gold plating in the circuits and cruise ships as well. Probably on the important functional pieces there that keep the things safe. Joe McDonald, what's up, dude? It would be fun to ask you how to respond in the vernacular of a pirate. That would be fun. Philip says, I'm in town visiting my parents for a few days. We'll come by and see you. Looking forward to it. Thanks, Philip. Are you from Amelia Island? Appreciate it. Nice to see you, if that was you. Sorry about that. My name's bad with names. But anyway, like I said earlier, I'd like to thank everybody that comes by and visits me and all you viewers out there as well. Michael Matthews, what's up? Zeke the Great, I read a few years ago, it was 80 ounces of silver in a tomahawk. Zeke, I have heard figures across the board from 50 ounces to 500 ounces on the cruise missiles and tomahawks. So, I mean, wow, what a wide range of different thoughts on how much silver is in a tomahawk. However, one of the guys that I recently spoke to, one of the commenters here, had a great comment in my cruise missile, or the day after, talking about cruise missiles in that video, why they use silver in cruise missiles and why it's so important because of the targeting systems and because of the speed in which silver operates on circuit boards. Great comment. Wish I could go back and find it right now, but most of you, if you go back and take a look at that video I did, it's pretty cool. Brian, I heard Biden's putting the stops in copper mining states. What does this mean for the copper prices in the U.S.? Well, probably higher copper prices more than likely, but even more so, higher silver prices, because silver is a byproduct in copper mining. Not many people know that, and that's why silver is so expensive to mine individually, but a lot of other metals, silver is a byproduct of that. So a lot of mining companies that do copper get silver as well, and that'll affect silver prices too. George says they say cruise missile says, there we go, 500 ounces, dude. Listen, also a cell phone has 1/100 of an ounce of silver, making it not worth. See, I mean, it's just such. I got to get the facts on this. I got to do a little more research on cell phones and cruise missiles and see how much silver and gold really is in a cruise and cell missiles to confirm that fact, because there's such a wide variety of opinion on this. I've heard over decades. Interesting. Thanks, George. I appreciate you bringing that up. Rick says, good morning. I want to say I love your videos, but I never finished watching. They're too long. If you keep it under 50 minutes, you'll get more views. Oh, I'm sorry, Rick. That's just not who I am. I am a blabbermouth. So keeping me under 15 minutes is like, I don't know. You make something up, but not going to happen. But I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you even putting up with 15 minutes of me. Thanks, man. Well, that's it, folks. Listen, make sure you hit that like button right there, and that's what it looks like when you hit it. Make sure you hit the subscribe button as well. You'll subscribe to my videos, but just because you're subscribed don't mean that you'll be updated when I get new videos out there. So make sure you hit that little bell button next to the subscribe button as well. Hey, folks, that's it. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. If you're looking to buy gold, silver, and platinum products and you live anywhere in South Florida, between $1 million worth, millions of dollars worth of gold, silver, and platinum, I can do it. Absolutely. I look small, but I am a pretty powerful little tiny place. Or anywhere to $1 worth. I'm willing to accommodate you, and we offer to beat APMEX, SD, JM Bullion, and the locals here in South Florida. Again, this is if you can come visit us in our brick and mortar store here in Lauderdale by the Sea between 10 and 4 Mondays through Fridays. If you don't live in South Florida and you're buying more than 100 ounces of gold, more than 1,500 ounces of silver, I can accommodate you as well through traditional forms of secure shipping and secured payments like wires. But we do not have a website, folks, so it's really tough for us, almost impossible for us to do smaller quantities than that. Well, anyway, hey, thanks for watching. Hope I'm helpful. And if you don't have a great store like us near you and you can't buy larger amounts of silver and gold from us, I highly recommend that before you shop at APMEX, SD, and JM Bullion, which are great companies, that's why I advertise to beat them. You want to beat the best. Find yourself a good local deal or try to keep that money local before you shop online. Again, that's just my suggestion, and really appreciate you watching. Have yourself a great day, and don't forget to see me at the Lakeland Collectorama Show, February 16th to 18th in Lakeland, Florida, coming up real soon here. Get your free tickets for a free admission here. All kinds of cool stuff, coins, bullion, silver, bullion, I mean all kinds of antiques and lions and giraffes and tigers and oh my. Anyway, really cool show. Hope to visit you there, and you get to meet me in person as well if you don't get a chance to visit my store here in South Florida. Hey, thanks again for watching. Have yourself a great evening, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye now.